God message today, the phone call that heaven marked by divine appointment. They called her Nova, a name whispered among angels before she was even born. Somewhere in the quiet town of Eloan Ridge, her spirit had already begun to vibrate with subtle signs she couldn't explain. Restlessness, shivers without cold, tears at strange moments. She thought she was losing her balance, when in fact she was being positioned. 3 days ago, she overheard a line from an old movie playing in the background at the cafe. He's coming back, and it won't be the same this time. It froze her for a second. She couldn't shake it. Her chest tightened. Her eyes welled up. She didn't know why, but it felt like a whisper from beyond the veil. At the same moment, in a city far from Eloan Ridge, a man named Elias stood beside his window, phone in hand, staring at her name on the screen. Tall, quiet, conflicted, he had rehearsed what he would say 100 times. Still, he couldn't decide if it was too soon or too late. But heaven had already moved. Archangel Raziel had stood at his shoulder for days, reminding him, the message is not yours to withhold. It's time. This wasn't a call for closure. It wasn't a confession or a catch up. It was a divine transfer. Nova didn't know that her name had been spoken in intercession by someone who'd never stopped thinking about her, and not just in memory, but in prayer, in dreams, in sacred echoes through the halls of the Spirit. The hour had been set, the lines drawn. This moment was marked long before either of them understood why. The vibration began before the call. Nova's ears rang one morning as she watered the plants. Her heartbeat quickened without cause. She had started seeing 1144, 333, 872, and 2333 on random clocks, license plates, receipts. She thought it was coincidence. It wasn't. It was prophecy. Elias had a secret, one he never meant to carry alone. But life twisted, circumstances intervened, and silence became his prison. The message he held wasn't just news, it was a key to something Nova had locked away years ago, something buried beneath resilience and tears. But now the lock was rusting, and the door was groaning open. She would feel it before it happened. The day of the call, the wind would sound different. Her coffee would taste sharper. Her eyes would sting before she even opened them. Spirit recognizes spirit, and her soul was already on edge. When the number flashed across her screen, her hands trembled, not from fear, but recognition. Not his number, not familiar digits, but something in her gut whispered, answer it. This is it. Hello? She answered, voice low. And then it began. Elias's voice did not waver, but his words cut through years of silence, regret, and spiritual waiting. He didn't begin with greetings. He spoke from the marrow of his soul. I don't know if this is right, but I couldn't stay silent. You've been on my spirit, and I have to tell you something. With each sentence, her knees weakened. The emotions she had tucked away for years came rushing to the surface like a wave crashing through a dam. The moment felt suspended in divine gravity, heaven pressing down on earth. He spoke of things she never shared aloud, desires, fears, dreams she gave up on, memories she thought only she remembered. Her mouth opened, but no words came, only tears, silent, sacred, soft. Nova finally breathed. How did you know? I didn't, Elias replied, but I was told to speak, and now I understand why. That call wasn't just about love or reconciliation. It was spiritual realignment, a timeline shift, a sacred appointment. Something within Nova cracked open and light spilled in. Her discernment had been right all along. Those uneasy stirrings, the strange timing of events, the messages that found her at odd hours. It was all divine setup. Archangel Raziel stood at the gates of transition, watching with approval. What had been delayed was now arriving. What had They spoke for what felt like minutes but turned into hours. Laughter, tears, long silences where the soul did all the speaking. Elias didn't try to fix anything. He simply delivered what heaven had placed in him. This, this is a spiritual contract, Nova whispered at one point, heart racing. I feel it in my bones. Yes, Elias replied, his voice softer now. We've done this before, somewhere else. Another time, another realm. I'm just remembering now. And she believed him. When the call ended, Nova didn't move. She sat in that same chair for over an hour, staring at the ceiling. The stillness was thick, holy, the kind that follows a miracle. She hadn't expected this, but her soul had been ready. The next morning she woke with a glow. Her steps were lighter, her smile held depth. People noticed. They asked, did something happen? She nodded but didn't explain. How could she? The language of spirit isn't always understood by flesh. Elias would return to his city changed, a burden lifted, a path made clear. And Nova, she would walk forward, no longer doubting her inner knowing, no longer questioning her dreams. That call stitched together a story that had been torn. It healed something ancient. In the weeks that followed, signs continued, dreams became vivid, time bent, music spoke to her. Strangers delivered messages they didn't understand, but she did. She began writing again, praying again, believing again. Archangel Raziel whispered, you are no longer waiting. You have been called forth. You have crossed over. And somewhere in the skies above Elohim Ridge, heaven smiled. The tall man had delivered the message. The vessel had been used. The call was complete. And Nova, once silenced by uncertainty, now stood in the light of sacred confirmation. Divine signal, the call that changes everything. You didn't expect the atmosphere to shift like this. Not today, not after so many silent seasons. But suddenly, before you could fully explain why, you felt it. In your chest, your breath, your room. The air changed. The wind itself started to whisper something holy. A message, a movement, a man. He doesn't even know why he's calling. He might fumble through his words, pause, repeat himself. But his spirit speaks even when his voice shakes. His pauses are holy. His sentences carry a code, and something in you recognizes it. It's like your soul stands up when he speaks. There's a tremble in the atmosphere, a magnetic crackle, the kind that rearranges timelines. You've waited for signs, confirmations, answers. They all come wrapped in the sound of his voice. It may feel surreal at first, but it's not coincidence. Heaven rehearsed this call. Angels cleared the way. Archangel Michael stood watch, ensuring that when the phone finally rings, nothing would interrupt what heaven already confirmed. You won't just hear him, you'll feel him. Your heart will respond before your head catches up. It won't make sense at first, but that's the beauty of it. Spirit never asks for logic, only faith. The betrayal you suffered, the confusion you endured, the quiet nights when it felt like God forgot, it all begins to lift, slowly, like a veil. And as the truth rises, you exhale, you cry, you laugh, you breathe differently. You are different, and the change doesn't stop when the call ends. You'll wake up the next day with a peace you can't explain. You'll walk through familiar spaces, but the colors will seem brighter. The heaviness you carried will be gone, not eased, gone, because something divine activated during that conversation, something ancient, something holy. He'll say things no one else knows about you, things only you and God shared. That's how you'll know it's real. That's how you'll know it's timed, not random. Destiny is here. And this man, this unexpected messenger, is simply obeying the pull that won't let him go. He's been wrestling, questioning, pacing floors. Your name echoed in his spirit for days. He tried to move on. The conversation might seem simple. It might not even last long, but it will echo in your quiet moments, in music, in sunlight, in dreams. You'll hear him when he's not speaking. You'll feel the words long after the line disconnects. Your entire vibration is shifting. People around you may not understand it. Let them wonder. This moment isn't for them. It's for you. It was written into your soul's calendar long before you were born. Every delay, every no, every closed door was preparing you for this divine yes. You're not in waiting mode anymore. You're in receiving mode. Finally, fully, completely. The tall man may never fully understand the role he played, but heaven chose him for it, just as heaven chose you to receive it. This isn't a feel-good spark that fades. This is a timeline shift. You are no longer the version of yourself that hoped. You are the version who knows. And that glow, that unmistakable energy that now radiates from you, it's not imagined, it's real, it's divine. Let others wonder where the confidence came from. Let them guess why your energy feels different. You don't owe them an explanation. This was never meant to be announced. It was meant to be lived. This is spiritual architecture. It rebuilds you from the inside. Even technology might respond. Lights flickering, phones acting up. That's not coincidence. It's the divine cracking open the veil. After this, your spirit becomes magnetic. The right people arrive. The wrong ones fall away. New opportunities appear. Silence becomes clarity. Pain becomes power. You'll stand taller, speak slower, love deeper. And when you look back at the version of you who waited for this, you'll say thank you because they never gave up. This call isn't just a message, it's a divine signal, a cosmic key, a spiritual confirmation echoing from the heavens. You were seen, you were chosen, you were always part of the plan. Now it's unfolding, on time, in full. Type Amen to receive this blessing. Type yes if you believe in Ode. Type 11 on 11 if you believe in God.